Now then, Jason, how are you going to play this? Are you going to play aggression? Your friend's still bleeding out back behind you. You have to hear the footsteps around you. Smurf, last member step up, and he's on so low life right now, but it's going to be third party that forces Jason back into his shack. So now, Jason, still sitting here looking back over towards Smurf. He's got shoot to kill that's kind of taking some pot shots at him. Not going to be able to make it back over to his teammate. So this is an official 1v1 where everybody's just going to kind of be cordial now. They're like, all right, we see how this played out. You have that building, I'll have this building, we'll be fine.
The reason why they can't push on each other is because we already see this from SDK. There's so much open ground around this area that third partying is easy, so they don't feel comfortable leaving this compound even though they know an enemy is right next door.
That's what happened. SSG crashes Oxy, SDK forces them to hide. In the meantime, Noble was fighting Simplicity, but Endemic heard it, came in, pushed, and Noble has been eliminated in 14th place.
Storm here able to make their way into the circle. Some good sightlines around them trying to establish position. We saw them end up on the back foot in terms of rotations because of the run-in with Smoking Aces, but they have all four up. They're able to get into the circle, and these are positions that they shine.
And we're starting to see a little bit more aggressive positioning coming in play. A lot of these teams are starting to opt away from the buildings and play defilades, dips on the sides of these mountains to where they know they have complete 360 angle view sights. So they're trying to line up what they can up here. And you can see Tempo Storm, they can see so much of what's happening around them.
They're actually in a pretty good spot if they get the next shift. So we'll see how that happens to go. Massacres all over the map, though. Oxy and SSG are being protected by STK right now.
Really, they are. You can see Lazarus wanting to make their way down that hillside. I think I saw Profi in a vehicle trying to meet up with his friends, but he's got Endemic and Lazarus next to him. This is going to be a little bit rough. Jason's still got a lot of damage that's coming around him. He just wants to leave. He just wants to get away, and it's going to be shots coming out from Smurf, and it's going to be on the other angle. Actually, shoot to kill Halo getting the kill on it.
They certainly help each other out, but yeah, this is Profi actually rotating around, getting past Lazarus as, actually, I believe it was Simplicity going out to Endemic on the northeast side, but Lazarus, I'm surprised they're not dead yet. They still have 3 up.
So what happened there was Endemic and Simplicity fought. Profi slipped in behind them while they were finishing each other off. Simplicity went out, Endemic survived, and the key is Profi utilized the distraction to make it back to his team.
I thought he was dead. I'll be 100%.
He also had cover from C9. C9 was shooting at Lazarus. Lazarus still 3 up, well, and maybe quickly down to 2 as Valix
he drove between 2 big fights. It was beautiful.
This is like the most hilarious thing. Profi just made like the greatest exodus around through so many squads, managed to make it back over with his teammates, and then gets headshot. It's just like, oh my god, why does this happen? Meanwhile, last member, or actually we have 2 members of Lazarus that are up, but they do have Endemic that's right next to him. Look at this. But Endemic doesn't have a clear path up this hillside. Really, Crispier's up here. They've got themselves 5 kills already, but they've got Lazarus right down below them, and you can see it's going to be a very active Tempo Storm. Still a fairly early circle, but Endemic, you don't want to stay out there for too long.
I think there's no path up. He thought he could climb up, but now he's forced to run around in the blue. Same thing with Wolf. They're actually having a meta on the blue, and something hears these shots, so I'm pretty sure he knows that there's a team there in that corner, but he wants to wait for the right time to push around, and here it is. He gets sprayed up. It's the blue that knocks him, but he does steal the kill anyway. But it was the turnaround from Bozu, but the damage from the blue made it too much. He finishes the kill before he goes out, so that's 1 more point.
And look at that. It's going to be Cloud9 holding that angle, hands down. They just didn't let him come forward, was just biting it, just holding it, and then it was just Endemic sneaking up back behind it. But meanwhile, White Team's Fate still caught up in a little bit of a skirmish with shoot to kill way off in the distance, but it's only going to be Valiant by himself holding down this position.
You want to talk about wide spreads? Valiant was here on the opposite side of the road for the longest time, but even if he goes down, if he deals heavy damage to shoot to kill, this could be impactful for White Team Fate to turn that into a round win once we get to the end game.
Well, he got a necessary down with that nade. He's all by his lonesome over here. He has a 3-man squad that's running across, but you can see the tracer fire. His friends are still here to support him.
That's the key to the spot. Valiant can only be there because his team has high ground across the street, and there's no approach position to where Valiant is that doesn't allow a 3-man cover fire. So Valiant may go down at some point, but they know that they will do massive damage to anyone who pushes him before that happens.
Well, they also have E United holding this other angle, so really shoot to kills found themselves slightly pincered. They want to make their way down, but Valiant is just valiantly defending that spot and not letting them make their way forward. So now it looks like they might be thinking about hopping in vehicles and doing a much longer rotation, as again, these valley roads are going to be so big. Here we go, shoot to kill, running forward, and now the spray's coming up from Valiant. Doesn't get the down that he wanted. He knows that this is going to now be all onto his aim. His because he is so outnumbered. But the third party coming in, Dill Hero gets it down. They get Valiate, but they don't have the angles necessary to really push into this.
That was an amazing push by STK, and you actually see when Valiant got the spray down on the truck, the player in the driver's seat swapped to the passenger, used momentum to swing up, and didn't allow Valiant to get an easy spray down, kind of mix it up. They did lose a player, but they got the location. There's 2 up in the circle.
Shoot to kill right now was expecting potentially more than just one. They run over here, it's like, oh, it's just this guy. This is way easier than we thought.
So much.
Yeah, that was so hazardous for them. Meanwhile, E-United's going to go ahead and regroup. They did the damage that they want. Baja is now down as well, as it's going to be Tempo Storm slowly making their way up right next to Why Tempt Fate. You can see breaches are starting to come into play, nades breaking through windows, Cam. That's why they should break windows, see?
Exactly.
All right, so Hypoc over here on this other side by his lonesome, a little bit separated out. You can see Cloud9 rolling down the hills in the distance. Tempo Storm do manage to get control over this building, but Hypoc still just trying to survive inside of here, praying that everybody will just at least have to be forced to rotate around. But Crispier is actually watching this on the outside too, so gonna have to keep an eye on how he decides to play this. It's probably gonna be as quiet as possible, but all 4 members of Tempo Storm down right next to Hypoc.
Hypoc, he's staying inside the building, even though it's dangerous. Oh no, there he goes. He gets the jump out. The call out from his teammate says that no one is pushing around the corner. It's a safe passage, and so they are out of there. Tempo Storm got way too close, but Tempo Storm, their own sightlines are pushed right now onto Cloud9.
Look at this. Tempo Storm does not care. They're like, oh, there's a guy in that building right over there. That's fine. Let's take some shots at these guys that are in front of us. No fear coming out from these guys. It's actually going to be Baja that hits a nade onto Hypoc.
Okay.
That's not intentional.
Oh, no.
Another nade comes out, and that's going to be Maluk hitting down, taking down Baja Waka. So with this, Hetro's got to figure out what the hell do I do now? There's been a problem that's happened down the low ground. Meanwhile, Crispier is just so happy, like, yeah, you guys keep fighting.
He's going to wait to try and third party this if he gets an opportunity, but here comes the push from Trey. Knows that the smoke, though, can't see a lot of information, but he's going to push up anyway because he does not care. He gets 2 flushes, that's important. Hetero now tries to pounce back, and he does get a kill and a flush of his own.
So he got the flush onto it, but that was a lot of damage that comes out. You can hear fireworks popping off in the background. Meanwhile, Sharky, the rest of the guys from Tempo Storm still looking over here, as now we also have Shoot to Kill looking back the same direction. Everybody hears this firefight. E-United still being really explosive, netting themselves more kills as they just take a building.
They just pushed straight in there. Vicious, this building was dead center, and they just bumped directly in, didn't waste any time, and they get the smash and the compound.
That's exactly what happened. United comes out clean. I mean, it was a hard smash to win that. Vicious, I just don't think was ready for someone to be that aggressive.
No, not at all, because you never expected at this point of the game, but there are so few locations to hold down at this circle. That's really your only option. You have to go for the Hail Mary, and speaking of which, Wildcard out in the open, take their own shots, get a knock, Uncivil barely dodges the explosion from his own vehicle.
Look at that, using a rolling vehicle to provide some form of cover, but he's still under duress right now as the bullets are raining down next to him. Dill Hero's looking back on that angle. Uncivil's just trying to spray at anything that's around him, like, please go away. Tempo Storm Cloud9 also slowly encroaching back down as Nerf gets popped way up on the top of that hill. Hetchor is somehow still alive back over there, but 16 people alive, 7 teams. There's so many snakes still hiding out inside of this circle. Tempo Storm, though, a lot of control on the edge. Cloud9 control up towards the north, but it's going to be E-United that's smack dab in the middle of this circle looking at everybody.
SGK go out, Wildcard are somehow able to keep themselves alive, even though their position is incredibly tricky. It's all down to their aim at this point.
Hetero at this point is just like, yes, please everybody fight each other. I'm just trying to buy. I just want to buy as many position spots as I can, and Tempo Storm is just cutting a path for him. Whites and Fate Hetero running down, and that's going to be getting taken down by Cloud9, who was just patiently waiting for this. Now, could be Tempo Storm realizes that we might not want to go that way. A couple of them are flanking back in one direction, but Zampa still looks like he's holding that angle back down next to Cloud9.
They know Cloud9 are there, so Zampa is making sure they don't get pushed while the other players sweep down clockwise on the right-hand side to push out anyone else who may be lying in wait, like Crispier from Endemic was just minutes ago.
So what you do here is you clear the back of the circle because they know they're going to probably have to move down towards EU's compound. They now know where everyone isn't, and that means their approach to E-United and to play that last ravine is functional.
Ooh, and here comes Wildcard from the opposite side. Pride and 2i both getting knocks and kills. So C9, all their focus was on Tempo Storm, but they left their backs open.
That Zampa down was so big because that spun their direction back up that hillside, and now Wildcard is just starting to tear apart Cloud9. You can see K-Mine. He's got himself the ghillie suit, but he's right out in the middle of everything. He's going to go ahead and try to blow this up, give himself a little bit more cover, but 16 seconds, he's going to have to start making his way inside the safe zone. Wildcard already got themselves right up next to that crate. Zampa, though, remember he was a little bit situated away from everybody else, but they have managed to net so many kills. Tempo Storm in a great spot, 10 kills at the time.
Pride spots out Ghost, who actually have a pretty good game so far considering what we've seen, but Pride is going to make it more difficult for them. Ghost need to push up, and I think that may have clued E United in that Ghost was on the southern side. All those smokes in the end.
Here's the thing, E United has the control point. They have the buildings, but everybody is avoiding them. Nobody's fighting on any angle that they can get clear sight lines, so they can't get the kills that they really want. They're sitting at 4 right now, but all the fights have been up on these hills, nowhere next to them, so they really want more of it. But K-Mine, here comes a Tempo Storm push. K-Mine, what you got? A little bit of spray, it's gonna take a little bit of damage, but that's not gonna be enough as Cloud9 is now eliminated, but Wildcard capitalizing. Starting to make their way up the hillside.
They know a fight just happened, and they want to punish while they can because they need this northern part of the circle on their own. A little bit of damage on Zampa, but it wasn't a finish. That wasn't enough for them. But look at this push by E United.
E United now moving outside. They realize all the violence happening around them. They don't want everybody else to get those kills. So now Dill Hero, being a little bit more brave, is going to spot out Sharky. Nades are starting to come back over his head. Prepping this. Does he know what angle it is? Look at the prediction coming into play. That's probably going to do some damage over towards Sharky. But Geist trying to make a cross. He's got Ghost that's taking a couple of shots back over towards him. This split could be very detrimental for him. They have to take down Tempo Storm now.
But look at Ghost third partying all this action. United weren't expecting this aggression from Ghost Gaming. McCoy and Balak both getting downs and damage, so E United, by going aggressive on a Tempo Storm, may have just thrown this game.
They went aggressive, but they didn't necessarily get the downs as fast as they wanted to. Now it's all onto just Geist, who's laying down inside of his stomach, just laying down on his stomach, waiting for everybody to collapse down next to him. But look at this, Tempo Storm at 14 kills. They're running high off of that last game.
Ooh, I'm going to say they're probably going to break 16 at this point.
I mean, maybe it comes down to E United making that push, not being like wanting the kills plus the win instead of being comfortably hiding sort of in the center circle and making Ghost fight Tempo. Now Ghost Tempo are still going to fight, but the winner gets to go 1v3 basically against Nades.
Gonna go run back in there. Is it going to take him down? No.
Tempo know that there's a member of E United left, and so while they do want to focus on Ghost, they can't because they want to clear the center first before they do that. But because it's taken them so long to do so, Ghost is pushing forward. Drassler gets a very nice knock onto Zampa.
That is so big because remember, it was essentially a 3v3 with Geist in the middle. Now they've got the down. That means the Tempo Storm's going to have to play a little bit more defensively. That's going to allow Ghost to get this necessary foothold inside of the circle that was so important.
Ooh, a nice return knock from Sharky onto McCoy. But look, Ghost are still not in a good position. Drassler runs through open field, though. That's very risky, but it was a risk he needed to take.
Geist, though, is such a big influencing factor inside of this. Maluk knows that he's there. He could pop up at any given time. Is he going to spot out Tempo Storm first? This is a very risky push coming out from them. They're starting to realize, okay, we don't have the sight lines for it, so let's pull back. Really, Geist is a deciding line at this point. You can see Ghost actually has a foothold in the same building complex, but Maluk trying to spot him out. He knows the fact they don't want Geist to pop up and kill them at any given moment, but they can't spot him out. Runs back in. Nade goes out right in front of Zampa as he's just going to get sprayed down. Maluk does manage to get the down before the flesh comes out, and that is huge. But Ghost right at the doorstep.
A great push by Tempo Storm. They push twice from 2 separate angles, and they don't allow the flush to happen, even though a first knock went their way. However, as you said, Ghost, during that time, Tempo Storm needed to focus on E United, but that gives Drassel a center position and the 2 members, McCoy and Balak, on the backside to give Overwatch.
I love this. You can see the fact that they're playing for center control. They're each only sending a couple of members forward, and they're both teams still leaving somebody in the back so that way they can provide some type of defense. Sharky's starting to get shot from the other side of this, so he's trying to play it a little bit more hesitant at this point, but Drassel really close to the center of the circle, but I think that Tempo Storm has a little bit closer of an angle for it. Now it's starting to condense down. 2 minutes. Ghost has to make their way forward.
The question is, does Tempo Storm know that Drassel is there? He needs to stay quiet and wait, but Zampa finds Balak. That's not a good start. McCoy turns it around in their favor, though, makes it a 2v2. It's Drassel's time to shine as he pushes out to allow McCoy to push forward.
Drassel has to hold these angles. He has to protect. He got the necessary down back over towards Sharky, but it's 2 members stepping right up and forward, and that's going to be it. Ghost Gaming has been